everyone, and welcome to this edition of The Back Room. We are so pleased that you are all here this evening, and we cannot wait for this wonderful show. We have a terrific lineup of authors, and I can't wait for you to meet them all. I'm your host for the evening, USA Today bestselling author Hank Phillippi Ryan. I have written 14 novels of suspense. The newest is The House Guest, which is cleverly displayed on the door behind me. It got a starred review from Library Journal calling it binge-worthy, and Publishers Weekly says Ryan is a master of suspense, and it just went into a second printing after 6 days on sale. So I'm so incredibly happy about that. You will meet each author one by one, and let me introduce them to you now. I tried to make these intros shorter, but then they're just so interesting that I couldn't do it. So listen to this. Let me read you these bios in alphabetical order. Liao Butler, welcome, Lynn, was born in Taiwan and moved to the States when she was 7. Before becoming an author, she was a professional ballet and modern dancer, and is still a personal trainer, fitness instructor, and yoga instructor. She is an avid animal lover and fosters dogs as well as volunteers with rescues. Lynn enjoys spending time with her FDNY husband, their son, their 3 stubborn dachshunds, sewing for her Etsy shop, and trying complicated yoga poses on a stand-up paddleboard. You'll have to ask her if she's ever fallen off. She is the author of 2 upmarket fiction books, The Tiger Mom's Tale and The Red Thread of Fate, and recently released her first thriller, Someone Else's Life, which I think went to #1 on Amazon like the first day it came out. Welcome, Lynn, and thank you.
I'm so excited to see everybody.
Our next author is Eli Cranor. Hey, Eli. Eli Cranor lives and writes from the banks of Lake Dardanelle, a reservoir of the Arkansas River, nestled in the heart of true grit country. His critically acclaimed debut novel, Don't Know Tough, won the Peter Lovesey First Crime Novel Contest and has been nominated. Oh, that's outside. Look at that. Oh, that's amazing. That's so peaceful. And that's what you look out as you're writing every day?
Yeah, we just moved out here like a year and a half ago, but it's been nice. Yeah.
All right, we'll just stare at your view for a minute. Anyway, let me go on with this. Not because I don't want to leave out nominated for an Edgar Award. I don't want to have gotten swooped away in your real estate and let that go. Eli also pens a weekly column, Where I'm Writing From, for the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, and his craft column, Shop Talk, appears monthly at Crime Reads. While he's not writing, Eli splits his time between his wife, his 2 children, and his day job teaching senior English to kids in juvenile detention centers across Arkansas. Eli's newest novel is Ozark Dogs. Hold that up if you have it, from Soho Crime. See why I couldn't cut anything from these bios? Everybody is just so interesting. Adele Parks. Hey, Adele. The brave Adele Parks, who is coming to us from the UK, where it's the middle of the night, or almost at least. Adele is the author of 22. Is that right? Still 22?
Yep.
22.
23rd will be this year. Yeah.
23rd will be this year. I knew the minute I talked to you that the numbers just go up and up.
Go up every year.
Okay. Adele Parks is the author of 22 best-selling novels, including the recent Sunday Times #1 hits, Lies, 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 and Just My Luck, and One Less Sacred. Okay, now hold it up. More than 4.5 million UK editions of her work have been sold. It's probably more than that now, right? More than 4.5 million have been sold, and her books have been translated into 31 different languages, probably more than 31 now as well. She is an ambassador of the National Literacy Trust and the Reading Agency, 2 charities that promote literacy in the UK. Adele also writes for national media, including The Times, Guardian, The Telegraph, and appears regularly on TV as a spokesperson for the publishing industry. In 2022, she was awarded an MBE, a British Order of Chivalry, by His Majesty King Charles III for services to literature. Her newest novel is One Last Secret. I'm not going to cut anything from that bio either, you see? And
I just realized I should have had my medal to hold it.
Oh, do you have your medal?
Yeah, it's in another room, but next time.
All of our medals are in the other room. All of our medals in the other. Yeah, next, you can get it next time. Absolutely. And Shelby Van Pelt, who comes to us now from a hotel room in Seattle. Is that where you are?
It is, yes. I was here for a Library Foundation benefit last night, and I have a 6 a.m. flight tomorrow morning, so I am staying as close to the airport as possible in the hopes that I actually make it on that plane, because I'm not a morning person.
We could all call you and wake you up. That'd be fun. That would be
You
fun.
could, it probably would be more reliable than whatever the hotel has to offer.
Oh dear, you'll make it. You'll make it. We are so pleased that you are here tonight. When Shelby Van Pelt isn't writing, she's juggling cats. I don't know if that's metaphorically or really, while wrangling children. Her debut novel, Remarkably Bright Creatures, was a read with Jenna Pick and an instant New York Times bestseller. And when we came on tonight, people were talking about how much they absolutely love your book. So we are thrilled that you are here this evening. She lives in the suburbs of Chicago with her family and says, writing weird creatures has always been fun for her, but she was surprised at how not weird it felt to write from the perspective of an octopus. And that is Remarkably Bright Creatures. So we are remarkably happy for you to be here this evening. Thank you for putting up with it and for your time zone problems, all of you. We love that. So now, as always, we will begin with our fancy 20 questions. It's really 12 questions because 20 questions would be too many, but 20 questions is what it's called. It's really 12 questions, and we'll ask each author a question to sort of get the conversation going and give you some things to ask them about in the breakout rooms. So let me ask you in the order I see you on the screen, and that means Adele, you're first. Tell us one amazing thing that's happened to you in your life and why it was amazing.
Oh, right. Well, we have to go for the MBE then, because it was so unexpected. So it might not be a big deal at all in other parts of the world, but in the UK, this sort of award, it started after World War I, when they wanted to kind of pick people in civilian life and say, you've done a great job, whatever you're doing. And yeah, it was so unexpected. I actually thought it was spam, and twice turned down the offer of this award, just kind of deleted it. Completely convinced it was a joke from somebody or other, or just literally spam. So when I finally did get to the palace and get handed this award by the king, it was a joy.
Eli Cranor, what was your first car?
My first car was a 1988 Ford F-150 Lariat. So like your typical Ford truck, it was my dad's. And I was born in 88. So he had driven it 16 years until I turned 16. And it was a manual transmission, which by the time I was driving there weren't a lot of dudes driving manual transmissions. And I wrecked it 3 times in the first year that I had it. So.
Did you love it though?
I did love it, and I had to keep driving it. Like after it had the big dent in the side, the passenger side door, the multiple dents, I had to keep on rolling.
I can just kind of picture that. Thank you. And your dad, well, we'll talk about it later. Shelby Van Pelt, what was your favorite book as a child?
Such a hard question. I love Charlotte's Web. I think that's the one that I probably read the most times over and over again. And my love for it continues to this day. My kids love it. We read it like once a year, and probably maybe sowed some of the seeds of having a book that I would write someday myself about animals who are sentient.
Exactly. I was thinking, now I see where Marcellus came from. That's very sweet. That's very sweet. And Charlotte's Web is so sad. Liao Butler, describe one thing on your desk.
Oh my goodness. I'm sitting on my desk, and this is what I have on my desk. It's called rooster poop. And it's actually, I think, chocolate cover macadamia nuts from Kauai, because at one of my book events, this reader gave me a bag, like a whole bag of rooster poop, they're called, because they're roosters all over Kauai. My book takes place in Kauai, so I just happened to have this here. I was going to eat it later when I start revising, because I'm in the middle of developmental edits right now, but yeah.
Speaking of books, you all are amazing, and this has been terrific. And I know all of you in the audience will have so many questions to ask these authors. But first, we want to lure you not only into reading these authors' books, but to lure you into reading other authors' books. And to that end, we have asked each of our authors to recommend a book that they love or that they're reading or that they think you should read, and they will briefly tell you that now, and we will put it in the chat. We'll put the list in the chat, so don't even worry about writing them all down. We will make it so easy for you. Adele Parks, we'll start with you. What book are you recommending?
I am recommending The Maid by Nita Prose, who's a Canadian author, a writer. And yeah, I came to the party quite late on that one. It was one of those books I bought and it stood on my to be read pile forever. And everyone kept telling me, you've got to read it, you've got to read it. And in the end, I put it on Audible because I do a lot of traveling, sort of 4 or 5 hours up to my parents. And it's really charming. It's really charming. It's from a point of view of a maid in what she thinks is a very stylish, amazing hotel. You kind of get the sense it's past its best faded glory, and it turns out to be really quite a criminal hub. I can't say any more than that because I don't want to spoil it.
Anyway, Eli, what book are you recommending?
But my book's Everybody Knows by Jordan Harper. So Jordan is actually a Missouri boy. So I'm in Arkansas, Missouri, just a couple of hours north of where I'm from. But Jordan has been in LA for decades as well, about 20 years. And this book is so something that me being over here in Arkansas, like I had no idea even existed. But it's about a black bag publicist. So a black bag publicist is like let's say some big star ODs on Thursday night, and they don't want it going out in the news that this was an OD. Then this person's job is like to come in and say like they had some sort of stomach bug, or like spin the story. And there's this whole it's called I think it's called The Beast. That this whole like lawyers and publicists and this whole group.
All right, we're getting some great books. Shelby, what about you?
I'm going to recommend Small World by Laura Zigman, which I had the pleasure of reading. I got to read it early. It was one of my first books that as an author, I was asked to read it and blurb it. So it'll always be special to me for that reason. But it also is just a fantastic book. I love books that are about things that are like dark and serious and heavy, but are written in a really funny way. And Small World is laugh out loud funny, even though it is about this family that has some really dark, tragic stuff in its past. Yeah.
Anyway, Lynn, finally wrapping up.
Yes.
Tell us the book that you're recommending.
I'm recommending Imposter by Brady Godfrey. This was her debut solo thriller, came out last year, and it just blew my mind. I read a lot, like I think I said, and it's a thriller. It's about two sisters, kind of like Shelby's recommendation also. But they've been estranged, and they now are coming back together. And the second one, the younger one, has come to the older one and says she needs her help. But before she can tell her what happens, they're involved in this car crash where the younger sister, unfortunately, has some sort of brain disorder, some sort of disorder, and can't remember anything. And so now it's up to the older sister to figure out what's going on. And it's just so well done. Like, I was so blown away because, with thrillers, there's always that twist, right? And people are always like, oh, I saw the twist coming, or I never saw it coming. Well, you don't see this twist coming, and it's so well crafted within the book that you're just like, how does she do this and get away with that? And then, oh my God, like,
wasn't that fun? We hope you enjoyed that taste of what a backroom session is like. But more fun comes immediately afterward. That's when the audience is broken up into 4 breakout rooms, and each author in turn visits each room. We'd love to show you what a breakout session is like, because those relaxed face-to-face conversations between best-selling authors and readers are the hallmark of backroom events. But breakout sessions are never recorded, because what's said in the back room stays in the back room.